Sitting in, or I should say not sitting, it's actually standing in the Virginia State Capitol is a statue that was commissioned of George Washington. And the statue, which is somewhat larger than life, a version of it actually sits out in front of the Society of Cincinnati National Headquarters at Anderson House here in Washington, D.C. And indeed, the Society has a beautiful miniature version of it, which we'll talk about in a moment. The idea of Cincinnatus, that Washington is the modern Cincinnatus, is, I think, another beautiful expression of how the revolutionary generation is deeply steeped in these Roman ideals, and in particular has taken the idea of civic virtue as a foundational principle. So Cincinnatus, who is Cincinnatus? Cincinnatus is the Roman general who leaves his farm to defend the Roman Republic, and when he is done with his job, he returns to his plow and becomes a citizen again and a farmer. The antithesis of kind of the idea of Cincinnatus, of course, is Caesar. This is the Roman general who crosses the Rubicon, who enters the city armed, and who seizes power and subverts the republic. So in a way, 18th century Americans are trying to understand politics as a kind of dichotomy where we want to encourage Cincinnatus-like behavior and we want to prevent the dangers of Caesar-like behavior. And so they commissioned a great French sculptor, Houdon, to make this great statue, and the statue is filled with wonderful symbolic references to the ideal of civic virtue and Washington's remarkable embodiment of that great modern virtue. Washington becomes the modern Cincinnatus, the American Cincinnatus. So what does that mean? Cincinnatus, of course, is the great Roman general who starts as a private citizen, a farmer. The Republic has need of his military services. He leaves his farm. He defends the Republic. Once the danger is over, he returns to private life, to being a farmer. He always puts the good of the Republic ahead of his own private self-interest. The sculptor, in creating Washington as the modern Cincinnatus, has placed a plow, symbol of sort of an agrarian farmer. Washington is dressed in his military attire, but interestingly enough, Washington's military role, the sculptor has very cleverly communicated that in a republic, in the kind of modern Cincinnatus, who is the figure of virtue in the American Republic, civilian authority controls military authority. And so how does the artist do that? We have here the symbol of Roman law, the fasci, which in the case of the modern republic, the United States, has 13 rods, symbolic of the 13 different states. This word fasci, of course, was corrupted by Mussolini in the 20th century for fascism, but its original Roman meaning is tied to the idea of the rule of law. And you'll note also that Washington's sword, the symbol of his command, of his military authority, rests on the symbol of civilian law, the fasci. So we have a reinforcement of the idea that the rule of law, that republicanism, no man is above the law, including Cincinnatus and Washington, and that military figures always take orders from the civilian authority. That's what makes us a republic and not a tyranny.